So you can remember there was a time team we did. Do you remember that it was based on metal detector work? And we found, it was the only time team I've ever done where we found absolutely nothing.
The show doesn't always go to plan. The directors would write a script, yeah, but they would know not to stick to the script throughout the 3 days, because the script is just there to kind of get day one, I think, sorted in the bag. Yeah, so they've got a direction going in, but anything could happen because it depends on what they find or don't find in some cases. And
I remember the pub scene with Phil. It was very good value. I got so anyway, yeah, because I knew we wouldn't find anything the next day. So did Phil. So we got completely legless.
But the other one that springs to mind is the site where I was, I have to admit, somewhat hoodwinked by a less than, as my dog, by a less than honest detectorist. We thought this was a Roman fort, and it turned out to be absolutely nothing.
And then there was one shoot, I remember, like, they just didn't find anything.
I mean, there literally was nothing on the site. And I remember Kerry sending me a photograph from the crane of all the ditches, all the trenches, and saying, P45 for you. So that was a bit of a stressful moment.
And I was thinking, God, this is strange. It's never happened before. And thinking, how interesting. So they made the show about that, you know, they actually were, they gave it a twist because it was rare, and because sometimes that is possible. You might not, for the best, you might think something's there for certain reasons, but then it transpires it's not. And, you know, the search or the journey of the search is as important as sometimes finding the item or whatever, or not finding the item. You know, it's not always about the actual goal, it's about the journey towards the goal.
Well, you know, the one that probably a lot of people would say, and I know the one that the television crew found very difficult, was Warburton, where we, in inverted commas, didn't find anything.
That was super rare. I think only one show, as far as I'm aware, did they not find anything. So that's pretty good odds for, if you think about 20 years worth of shoots.
But that's actually up in my kind of top five of what we learnt, because I just learnt such a vast amount about the normal background noise of lowland Britain, onto which our sites are superimposed. We were digging in between the archaeological sites, and that's countryside, that's fields, that's just as valid to know about. And there was one point where I said, desperately trying to scrape the barrel, I said that when we go into a cathedral, we are moved because people for thousands of years, 1,500 years sometimes, have been doing the same thing in the same place. And here we are in this field, and this field has been a field for thousands of years. People have been working here. They've been planting and weeding and ploughing and gathering in their crops. And this has been where life or death happens. If the crop fails, you will not survive. And it should be just as important, and it should give us just as much of a frisson as a cathedral. And somebody said cut, and I think whoever was behind the camera said that was really desperate.
Yes, the crew knew after a bit when we were paddling under the surface desperately.
Yeah, but I will stick to it. I think that it did give me an emotional frisson. People have been in this field forever, and that's, I think, something that we find hard to remember. It's easy when you see Stonehenge, and it's easy when you see somewhere like, I don't know, Ripon Cathedral Crypt or something. It's easy to think, oh well, our ancestors would have seen something like this, but in a field just as much. Why not?